Good evening. Welcome to the May 27th Valley View School Board meeting. We ask if you rise and join me in a moment of silence in honor of Memorial Day, and then stay standing as we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Which will be led by Member Venegas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board affirmation statement. Vice President Gugis.
Our mission is to ensure that all students are prepared for college and a successful life, academically, socially, emotionally, as well as equipped with the necessary tools to have options and make decisions about their long-term goals. This will be accomplished by believing and working towards all students learning through rigorous curricula and meaningful and effective instruction, consequently demonstrating mastery on high-quality assessments with all stakeholders being held accountable throughout the process.
Agenda, Dr. Mitchum.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to ask that the board approve the agenda as presented.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Student staff recognition. Pillars of Valley View. Up first, Mr. Brown, Mr. Randa, and Mr. Venegas. While they're gathering, for the student stuff, as soon as the kids are done, they are free to leave. We know it's a school night and might be some final exams out there, so do not feel like you need to stick around.
President Quigley and Vice President Gugis, board members, community members. Shanitra Brooks truly is a pillar for all of Valley View. Not only is she the backbone of both the school safety and the community relations departments, but she also easily and very capably handles the many other administration center roles she is asked to fill.
Ms. Brooks hit the ground running from the moment she joined the safety department in 2007. Because I am often out in the field, it is essential to have someone in the office who can oversee safety operations. Ms. Brooks' ability to pay attention to details and can-do attitude are invaluable.
That same can-do attitude is important in the community relations department on both routine days and on days where an emergency is occurring somewhere in the district. When I'm away from the administration center, I rest comfortably knowing Mrs. Brooks can handle anything that comes her way.
Here are a few examples of some of the mobility tasks Ms. Brooks has taken on. When the state mandated that all districts do a full safety school audit, Ms. Brooks took the lead. The audits from all 21 schools were completed about 3 months, saving the district $300,000 doing the audit in-house from having an outside company prepare and complete the audit. The Board of Education stated it was one of the most detailed audits they have ever seen from a district. In 2008-2009, Valley View put on one of the largest safe school conferences ever held in Illinois. Over 500 people throughout the United States attended.
Community Resource Fair Committee, Anti-Bullying Task Force, College and Career Readiness Committee, Community Bulletin Board Coordinator, the District Parent Link Coordinator. Those are just a few of the many things Mrs. Brooks handles for Mr. Brown and me. The fact is, she anticipates what we need before we even know we need it.
Ms. Brooks takes on many responsibilities in the district and is known as the go-to person. She is the single most important asset that keeps the safety and community relationship standing. I jokingly say her skills are diverse, that over the past 6 years, I have seen her do just about everything, including go out and fix someone's car, which I know she can. That is why we think Ms. Brooks deserves the Pillar of Valley View, Ms. Shanitra Brooks.
Next up, Bolingbrook High School, Principal Jordan and Member Sikora.
Good evening, everyone. Mrs. Alice Cameron is truly a pillar at Bolingbrook High School. She has worked for the district a total of 9 years. She started as a program aide in the LI program at Romeoville High School. Then after graduating from Lewis University with high honors, she worked as a supported ed teacher at Jane Addams, and finally was hired at Bolingbrook High School as a special ed teacher. Since being at BHS, Mrs. Cameron has excelled as both a case manager and instructor. She's hardworking, dependable, knowledge, an excellent problem solver, and these don't even begin to describe how wonderful she is. She is truly one of a kind, and I wish I had the honor of working with more staff like her. She comes into work on her days off and ensures that students on her caseload have what they need. Mrs. Cameron has shown resilience and professionalism in the face of many challenges. In a recent conversation with Ms. Ekstrom, the Director of Student Services, she asked, how can we develop or train staff to be more like Ms. Cameron? And I told her, I don't think you can train anyone. I think you're just born with it. Ms. Cameron not only holds herself to high standards, but also her students. For example, when students' grades are below a C, she meets with them individually and they set goals together. She then supports students and helps them reach their goals. Ms. Cameron and her co-teacher have a truly student-led classroom. Students engage in discussions, often focusing on higher level activities. Students have input in the class review format, their final project, and numerous other activities. Mrs. Cameron demonstrates best practice by giving students choices in class and linking every concept to real life. For this reason, the students in her co-taught classes yield some of the highest scores on assessments. When asked what her passion is, Ms. Cameron stated, challenging myself to become a critical, transformative educator to provide my students with a challenging yet supportive learning environment where regardless of their abilities, they can achieve success. This is the type of teacher Valley View is proud to have. Ms. Cameron does all of this while being a wife and mother of 6. She has 3 children in high school and 3 in college. Ms. Cameron is currently completing her ESL endorsement and will be starting her master's degree in the fall of 2014. Her goal is to then work on her PhD, focusing on strategies and policies on narrowing the achievement gap. So please join me in congratulating Mrs. Cameron for being a pillar of Valley View.
Next up, Early Childhood Center, Ms. Nylander and Member Felice.
Good evening, board members, senior leadership, and audience. This is my final act, official act, as principal of the Early Childhood Center, and it is with great honor that I am introducing wonderful pillars of the Early Childhood program. As you know, our program is one of a kind, but here tonight we honor 2 staff members that signify what it means to be a pillar of Valley View, Angela Walker and Rhonda Wallace. Our special education program assistants serving the youngest and many times most challenging students in the district since 2002. What is special about these 2 women is that they do not look for the limelight or fanfare. They are always working behind the scenes. No job is too big or too small. They are hard workers, coming in early and staying late. Angela has taken the lead on our fellowship committee, going beyond the call of duty, sending special notes and organizing meals to staff when needed. Rhonda works tirelessly and willingly supports all school events, doing whatever is necessary for the success of the school and students. Angela and Rhonda represent the true meaning of the word pillar. We couldn't do our work without them. We are so proud.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Principal Mitchum and Vice President Gugis.
Come around me, friends.
She travels heavy.
Good evening, school board members, senior leadership, and the community. My name is Jackie Mitchum. I'm the principal at Hermanson Elementary School. With me is Christina Williams, our assistant principal. If you could please wave. 5 years ago, Hermanson Elementary welcomed its first autism program in Valley View, also known as our Stellar program, which stands for Structure, Teaching, and Learning Resource. The program has come far since its first year, with having one classroom to now having 4, approximately 40 students. The hard work that is done every single day is mentally and physically challenging, but rewarding. Every day is a unique day in our Stellar program. Our students and families have become very special to us. Today, I have the honor of being able to recognize the staff of our Stellar program as pillars of Valley View. Way too difficult to nominate just one. It's definitely a team effort. The teachers, paraprofessionals, speech paths, occupational therapy, and our adaptive PE staff work with deep passion, dedication, commitment, don't forget humor, and a heart for children with autism. Please help me in honoring our awesome team, who also like to call themselves the Stellar Storm. Classroom teachers, if you could wave, please. Leah Johnston, Kelly Shetler, Jenny Bainas, Andrew Flack. Paraprofessionals, Dina Battle, Jody Skibby, Tammy Elsenbach, Linda Wilder, Mary Ellen Bishop, Jackie Jones, Darcy Rocks, Alicia Harrington, Ginny Sokol, Judy Caffey, Lynn Hanna, adaptive PE coach, teacher Karen Puckett, speech pathologist Kate Yoon and Nicole Clausen, and our occupational therapist Stephanie Burke. I thank you for all your true love and dedication for our students. Congratulations as being pillars of Valley View. And we do invite you to come visit us at any point in time to see our kiddos. And if there are any parents here tonight that came from the program, if you could wave. We got one out there. Thank you very much.
Pick it a wide angle lens, Lair. There you go.
Get tight.
Do it by height. Good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, Valley View Middle School Math Contest Champions. I'm going to call them mathletes, so bring them on. I think it's Jane Addams first, but it's so small on my computer I can't read it. Lukancic's first. Okay, whoever's up, come on.
Good evening, President Quigley, Vice President Gugis, members of the board, senior leadership, community, and audience members. Tonight, we are going to be honoring our middle school math competition winners in several different categories. This competition is an opportunity for students to actually come on their own time outside of school and do math problems. That's humor. Tonight from Lukanzik, I'd like to have Principal Tricia Rollerson come up and introduce our Lukanzik finalists.
Good evening. It is certainly an honor to be here this evening to honor some of our students in their accomplishments. First, Arta Asmani, our math contest 7th grade team champion. Ashley Zipperich, 7th grade team champion. Harley Worcester, 7th grade team champion. Peter Javolski, 7th grade team champion. And Sierra Crownhart, 6th grade individual 2nd place. And unable to be with us this evening is Matt Bowman, 7th grade team champion. Thank you.
Just a little about the competition. We run 2 different parts, an individual part and then a team part. We honor our first place team out of the 5 middle schools, and our individuals are honored at 2nd and 1st place at each grade level, and we also run an algebra competition for those students that are in the honors program. Next up is Mr. Dave Schwartz from Brooks Middle School.
Thank you. It's a real privilege to be here tonight to honor our math team competitors. Our 6th grade team champion, Jacob Chow. Luke Chow. Nafay Abdul. Amanda Crisp. And Alyssa Madsen. Our 8th grade championship players are Julian Herrera, Mike Cahall, John Francisco could not be here tonight, Adve Padaturi, and Riley Criddle. Also, not being able to be here tonight was our 2nd place algebra winner, Haley Carr.
As stated, this was our 4th year running, and as part of the competition, not only do we do an individual and a group, but we do an overall team standing. Our first 2 years, Brooks Middle School took home that competition, and this year and the year prior, Jane Addams Middle School took home that competition. Next up will be Carrie Locke, the coach from Jane Addams.
Thank you. It is indeed a privilege to be here in front of the board today to just honor these outstanding students who worked very hard this year to make us back-to-back champs. Yeah, I said it. Okay. For the 6th grade champion could not be here. That is James Tynan. He was 1st place in the 6th grade individual. 7th grade team champion, Josh Kurian. Amit Bhatt. Mark Liu, who was also the individual 7th grade 1st place winner. Charlie Steenstra, 7th grade team champion and 2nd place individual. Mitch Fry, 7th grade team champion. Our 8th grade individual 2nd place winner was Aza Leal. Allie Clayton could not be here this evening. She also was 8th grade tied for individual 2nd place. Jolyn Zhang was 8th grade individual 1st place. Lance Baldo Verona could not be here this evening. He was a member of the algebra team champion. Jacob Harvey is playing softball, unless it got rained out, so he could not be here this evening. He's also algebra team champion. James Iwanu, algebra team champion. Rina Nandiala, algebra team champion. Hannah Young was the algebra team champion and also had the highest individual score for the algebra test since the contest began 4 years ago. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
The highest score ever. Congratulations. That's awesome. Great job.
And wait for Karen.
Better. Awesome. Should be good.
Jason, you want to control your ball? Keep breaking stuff. Steve.
Take your time. Get a good picture. Everybody look at the same camera at one time.
Steve. No worries. No worries.
Okay, mathletes, you're done. Go home and do your homework. Math matters. The question is, are you smarter than a 7th grader? Next up, Bolingbrook High School, Illinois Drafting Educators Association State Honorees. Here comes the coach.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shannon McCarthy. I'm the department chair in the Career and Technical Education Department at Bolingbrook High School. And first, I'd like to thank the board, the administration, and the community for supporting our business, computer technology, family consumer science, and industrial technology programs, and continually assisting us in improving our program and preparing our students for college and their careers. The students being honored tonight are from our industrial technology program. This program includes engineering design, architectural design, mechanical drafting, and production technology. The only problem we have tonight, I don't think any of our students made it tonight to collect their awards. Hopefully they're home studying for final exams. So we'd still like to honor them. These students competed at the Illinois Drafting Education Association regional competition, which is called the IDEA, at Joliet Junior College, and at the state competition at Illinois State University in Bloomington, Illinois. The students being honored tonight are as follows. Max Pleasant, he finished 2nd place at our regionals in Introduction to Computer-Aided Drafting, which is called CAD. We also had Sebastian Brown, who finished 1st in the Introduction to Computer-Aided Drafting at the regional level. And then we also had our state placers at Illinois State University. We had Kyle Engelman. He finished 1st place at our regionals in the area of machine computer-aided drafting, and he qualified for state and placed 2nd in the state competition at Illinois State University. Kyle will be attending Northwestern University and entering into their engineering program. And then finally, we have another superstar who could not attend tonight, Keith Perry. He competed in the architecture computer-aided drafting, which is called 3D CAD. He finished 1st place at our regionals, and he qualified for state. He did not compete in the state competition, but this is a pretty outstanding accomplishment he has. Keith will be attending Syracuse University and will be entering into their architectural program. He is one of 150 students that was accepted into the program out of 6,000 worldwide. So we appreciate all the help that you give us to keeping our programs going, and our students are showing their accomplishments. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Item 5.4 is not on the agenda tonight. It's on the agenda, but it's not going to be done tonight. We'll do it at the next meeting. Approval of the board minutes, consent agenda items. Dr. Mitchum, if you would, please.
Yes, Mr. President. I would like to ask the board to approve consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.5. 6.1 board meeting minutes, May 12, 2014. 6.2 executive session meeting minutes, May 12, 2014. 6.3 gifts for Jonas Salk Elementary School. 6.4 authorization to prepare a tentative budget for fiscal year 2014-2015. And 6.5 student activity contracts between Hermanson and ABC Book Sale, as well as Bolingbrook High School and Compass Marketing.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion on consent agenda items? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Liaison reports, any and all, please, from my right. Now my left.
Academic committee is meeting on Thursday.
Academic committee meeting Thursday.
Correct.
I have one brief one, legislative update. The state of Illinois is working on their budget as we speak. The Speaker of the House pulled off the permanent income tax, or the income tax being made permanent at 5%. It will roll back to 3.75% January 1st of 2015. They have said that the budget will remain flat, which means we will be funded at the same levels we were last year, which is still a reduction in the previous years and years prior to that. Our budget numbers are down on monies we receive from the state. However, there was a caveat in there, and this has not been written into any legislation that I've seen, only discussed, that there will be $187 million extra statewide available for school districts from around the state. I don't know what the categoricals are for all those qualifications. Senate Bill 16 was passed today out of the Senate. It's got a long road to hoe. That would basically redistribute certain funds to certain districts. We would be a gaining district in this, thus we would support it. It was very vague in the way it was crafted. We were not sure. Mr. Grisafi jumped through several hoops, kind of like a show pony, to figure out exactly if we were going to be losers or winners in this deal. I'm not counting on a dime of that money, to be honest with you. It would be nice to have an extra $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 million for the district, but the way the state's finances are right now, I don't think we can count on that. This is an election year. There's going to be all kinds of things being thrown out there to make people bite, if you will, and see who can be set up for certain political things down the road. It's unfortunate that education is just a part of that game. And I will say, and I have said for many times from this position, that the state of Illinois grossly underfunds education, and it's time that the state of Illinois honor its commitment and its Constitution and fund education in a preponderance as the Constitution calls for, not the local taxpayers. But unfortunately, that has not been done for many, many years as well as it should be, but it's not. So I will be in Springfield the next 3 or 4 days watching what's going on down there for my professional job, but also with our lobbyists working on some bills that affect school business as well. So that's all I have on that. Audience participation. Anybody who would like to present any views to the board this evening? Seeing no one. Moving down the agenda. Action reports. Student due process. Dr. Mitchum?
Yes, Mr. President. I ask that the board approve student due process cases A through G as presented.
Motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Board policy.
Action Report 9.2, we are presenting for second reading and approval Board Policy 6160, English Learners.
Motion.
So move.
Second. Did she second? I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
Yes, I did.
Motion second. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Ms. Kinder, if you would, please.
Yes, sir. Action Report 10.1 is providing information and seeking your approval on the adoption of a new course, Heritage Spanish 4, which is an honors dual credit course. I shared information previously on May 12th regarding this course. It is essentially adding an offering for our students who are native speakers of Spanish to have the opportunities of 4 years of language study and to truly increase their literacy skills in Spanish and English to become fully biliterate. And as an added bonus, they will receive college credit because we are doing this in partnership with the College of DuPage, and so that is an extra bonus for our students. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any discussion, any questions? Moving down the agenda. Mr. Gazzafi, if you would,
Excuse
please.
me. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Sorry, that was for
that's
action.
an action item. That's an action item. Next time I'll have to make a note. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Mr. Venegas and Mr. Felice, I believe. Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Now, Mr. Gazzafi, take care of some business.
Yes, several action reports for your consideration and approval this evening, beginning with our technology initiatives for 14-15. At our last board meeting, we presented you with an information report really revolving around several areas of technology upgrades in the district. Primary on those is the PARC assessment, Partnership for Assessment of Readiness of College and Careers. We're looking to fund sufficient computing devices and infrastructure to ensure that the mandated PARC assessment can be administered in the predefined time frame, while also ensuring that the technology-based instruction is not impacted. Thus, the labs that we currently have would not be taken offline so that we could administer PARC. Along with that, we're looking to upgrade our infrastructure and professional development resources to support current curriculum initiatives and the implementation of Google Apps for Education. And third, amongst those initiatives was the replacement of our legacy phone system throughout the district with a new voice over internet protocol. At the information meeting, we went through the idea of E-rate funding changing. We would be well prepared for that funding if the funding were shifted away from telecom, if you will, services to more computer-based types of infrastructure, and VoIP would certainly meet that criteria. And so, again, we laid that out. I don't want to rehash that for you. If you were not at the meeting, you can certainly go back and look at that. We've been vetting these projects, I think, for the last 6 months in our technology committee. We've had several meetings on that as well. And so at this time, we are asking you to approve our technology initiatives for the next school year as presented in the amount of $848,430 to be funded via a 5-year technology lease.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Let the record indicate Member Hansen has joined us.
Our next action is the annual Consolidated Instructional and Operations Software Maintenance Renewal. Several years ago, we consolidated all of the various software packages that are in excess of $10,000 in annual maintenance costs or renewal costs. And so rather than coming to you piecemeal, we consolidated this, and like I said, for the last several years, we've been bringing this forward. And so at this time, we are asking for your approval for these many packages that help us run the district day to day. Basically approving the software service and support of renewals for 14-15 is outlined in the amount of $665,945.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion?
I have a question. Gary, do some of these overlap? Their capabilities overlap as I was reading through them?
I think that's difficult to say. They might have modules that would allow us to do something very similar. I think as we've vetted these various packages over time, we found that the bells and whistles, if you will, the features that are provided in the ones that are on this action report do exactly what it is we need them to do. We are always on the lookout to trim software titles that we're maintaining and using throughout the district. And so they might look like there's some crossover, but I think for the most part they are standalone. I think, again, we're looking to do a more comprehensive, look at a more comprehensive student and administrative software package in the coming years that will maybe take some of these titles off of here on an annual basis. The difficulty there is going to be obviously making a selection that can serve all of our areas of need, as well as the cost.
Thank you.
What's the long-term prognosis for AIMSweb?
We are having a great deal of conversation about that now. That is going to depend on a lot what materializes with the park assessment. We do have a need to have a progress monitoring tool in place, and at this time, AIMSweb is meeting that need in terms of response to intervention, basically identifying students who need additional support and then monitoring their progress. It also is linked to a lot of students who are receiving support through their individualized education plan, who are special education students. So at this time, we are recommending to renew it for this coming year. That may, depending on where things land up with park and any other assessments that we have in place, that may change. But at this point, we are keeping it in place for next year.
Gary, of these, there's 13 renewals here that total the 600. Is there any that are left out that maybe aren't necessarily due for a renewal, or does this pretty much cover all our software issues?
Pretty much covers all of the software that, again, would be in excess of $10,000 renewals. We typically don't bring the smaller renewals to you. Esther, I don't know if you're coming to the podium. You wanted to add a little more detail to that?
Yes, Member Felice, this year we're not renewing the Sophos desktop support for antivirus and malware because we're actually going with a free product called Avast. We've done extensive testing on this. Our neighbors in Plainfield are using it on their desktops, and we were able to trim the budget by over $19,000 this year by going with this free product. So that's why that particular product isn't up here for your renewal this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Next up.
Next is the renewal of our contract with Mesero Insurance Services and Consulting. We've used them for the last 4 years now. We've been very happy with their services. They provide us with a annual flat service fee of $80,000, meaning they receive no commission from any of the lines of coverage that they provide, which are quite numerous. We did ask them for consideration of a 2-year contract renewal. They were good enough to provide that to us, and so at this time, with the service that has been provided, we are recommending staying with Mesero Insurance Services for the 14-15 and 15-16 fiscal years at a cost of $80,000 per year.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
That would be no. No,
Member
no.
Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
No.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Next.
Next is a recommendation for the Brooks Middle School and Sauk Elementary School site improvements. Basically, these are parking lots that have reached the end of their serviceable life. The projects were recently discussed in our Finance Committee and agreed to proceed forward for next school year. We had 7 packages that were picked up and or sent out. We only received 2 bids, but happy to report that both bidders are reputable companies that have done business with us in the past and have good reputations, as I mentioned. And so at this time, we are recommending the low bidder, Orange Crush, be awarded the work at Brooks Middle School and Sauk Elementary for a base bid amount of $932,000.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
Also at the May 12th Board of Education meeting, we presented an information report regarding the Guaranteed Energy Savings Contract for Brooks Middle School. This is the second time that we've presented information to the board regarding the various mechanical needs at the school. At the discussion we had in the Finance Committee, it was determined that we would like to phase this work in over the next 5 years due to the cost approaching $4 million and not committing ourselves to all of that work due to our unknown finances, particularly in light of what's happening at the state level. We do have a need for a chiller replacement, and so what you have here is an action recommendation to approve the energy savings contract with subject to attorney approval with Performance Services Incorporated for the phase 1 of a mechanical project at Brooks for a cost not to exceed $517,518.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? We're hoping that that will come in lower, perhaps.
The only thing we have working against us, one of the big things is time. Obviously,
Sure.
things cost more as time marches on, but we will work diligently to keep a cap on costs and hopefully bring this project in at a cost less than was originally proposed.
Great. Motion and second. Roll call vote, please, if there's no further discussion.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
Next is Avito Martinez Middle School acoustical improvement to classrooms. We've got 8 classrooms that are in need of some sort of acoustical treatment to provide some sound integrity, if you will. They're very loud. Some of the construction that is used there, if you're familiar with Martinez, very open, kind of open concept, large ceiling spaces. And so even with the new mechanicals that were put in a few years back, we find the need to install some sound deadening panels. So we put this out to bid. We received 3 bids along with 3 alternates. At this time, we are not recommending any of the alternates, but are recommending an award to our lowest responsible bidder, RB Construction, to provide acoustical improvements in the base bid of $173,952.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Gary, how do schools do they contact you if they're having this problem? Because I know this is not the only building that has this problem.
Typically, they would contact either myself or the facilities department to say, things are they're not what they should be. We just can't even, the kids can't hear the teacher, particularly if they're in the back row, what have you. And so the first thing we would do is investigate if it's a mechanical issue. Is a univent clogged? Is it out of kilter? What have you? And over time, if things can't be done to correct the problem, we'll look at something like this. And so, it's oftentimes you're kind of in a catch-22 in terms of the mechanicals that are in the classroom or in the space. But if acoustical treatments can improve the situation, we want to make an effort to do that.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Fuel bid.
Fuel bid for our transportation department. We use approximately 300,000 gallons of diesel fuel annually. Basically, we use the OPIS rack rate for Chicago as an index, and so really the only thing that the 5 bidders, the 5 respondents were bidding was a price adjustment factor, if you will, their overhead profit markup. And so at this time, we are recommending to accept the low bidder, Petroleum Traders out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. They've done work with the district for an 11-year period prior to our current provider gaining the contract about 6 years back. So we are familiar with their ability to deliver a quality product in a timely fashion. And so we are recommending a 3-year fuel purchase contract, again with Petroleum Traders as the lowest bidder, from August 1st of 2014 through July 20th of 2017 with a price adjustment factor of 0.0394 cents per gallon.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion is second. Hey, Gary, I just have a silly question about this because I don't really know. I mean, I kind of understand how it works, but why are the prices so very wildly differing?
Really, I mean, again, for the last 17 years, we've had two providers that are most competitive. The others I really can't speak to. When you look at the difference in the two lowest responsible bidders, you're looking at about a $1,400 difference annually, or $4,500 over the 3 years life of the contract. And so, as much as we hate to lose an incumbent provider who's given us good years of service, the lowest bidder has also provided us good service in a previous time.
Yeah, I'm
frame.
just kind of looking at this, and I just wondered what the 13 cents a gallon versus 3 cents a gallon. It was kind of a... Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Gary, you had said that this Petroleum Traders was our vendor several years ago. Was there any red flag that showed why we didn't stick with them, or was it basically based on price, or
It was based on price.
So there was no issues or anything else that would have us go away from them?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Can
further
we go
discussion?
wrong with that? I mean, in the purchasing of that, is there anything that could go wrong with us buying from this particular trade?
Certainly, if they don't deliver in a timely fashion, I mean, we could say that they're a breach of contract, or if the quality of the product wasn't what we felt was what we were paying for.
Thank you, sir.
Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley.
Yes. Next, Ms. Hawks.
Thank you, President Quigley. Action Report 12.1, Consolidated Action Report for Certified and Classified Personnel. This evening, we're seeking your approval for 50 items for certified, 40 for classified, 3 for administrative classified, and 2 items for administrative certified.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley.
Yes. Next, Ms. Hawks.
Before I move on to my next action report, I would just like to say that the board's approval for the Consolidated Action Report included a administrator recommendation, and that is for Ms. Rita Guzman. Rita, if you would just stand, we'd like to recognize you this evening. Ms. Guzman will be taking the assistant principal position at Pioneer Elementary School, and she's been a teacher in the district for 11 years. She comes with a lot of accolades, a lot of high qualifications. She's working on her doctoral, and we're excited that her and Carmen are going to be a great team, and we're looking forward to great success this next year. Congratulations, Rita. And my final action report is 12.2. Resolution number 1485, authorizing dismissal of educational support personnel employee for reasons other than reduction in force.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley.
Yes. Information reports, 7th grade mathematics pilot program.
Yes, sir. Thank you. For Information Report 13.1, I'm bringing forth information on behalf of our Director of Math and Science at 612, Christy Vay, who in collaboration with teacher representatives from several middle schools are making the following recommendation to pilot a curriculum resource called Carnegie Learning for all students who will be in 7th grade standard mathematics this next school year in 2014-2015. This recommendation includes the purchase of the corresponding materials, resources, and support. And the information report that's provided to you goes into a greater depth about this. The budgeted expense is included in this year's fiscal budget. Essentially, to give you a little bit of background, when we made the transition to Common Core standards, we adopted a resource, Glencoe Math, which we are using currently at our middle school. And that resource was lacking in many ways in terms of having task-based learning for our students that really supported student-led inquiry in the classroom. We had teacher teams at the middle school level, particularly at 6th and 8th grade, who collaborated and worked extensively to develop a lot of these tasks and teaching materials that they needed. Seventh grade is an area that we've identified still needs further support in terms of having those curricular resources and then also that professional development to truly make those shifts in the classroom. And so we are recommending that we pilot this with the seventh grade mathematics to really have a resource for our teachers to support that task-based learning, that our current text, which at the time is essentially the best that was out there, but to truly support that student-led discovery in the classroom. We are familiar with Carnegie Learning, but there's some in-depth information in here, and there's certainly more available online, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. But it is a research-based curriculum, and it's designed for student-centered classroom, a truly collaborative classroom. This proposal includes professional development to supplement our in-district professional development, to really assist teachers in making the instructional shifts necessary to meet the demands of the Common Core. And so this would take place in the district as well in the classrooms, and obviously the goal to raise and sustain student achievement. And so we would monitor the success of this pilot and measure the outcomes through obviously our MAP scores and other assessment measures, as well as student survey and teacher survey and observation of classroom and students. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
We're calling it a pilot. Does that mean that, why are we calling it a pilot?
Well, we're calling it a pilot. I'm sorry, I failed to mention that it is a consumable resource. And so a lot of traditional textbooks are no longer what we knew in high school, meaning it doesn't have, in previous years where you would buy a textbook and it could have a life of 8, 10, 12 years. A lot of textbooks are shifting to more of a consumable resource. So this is a consumable resource that our students would use for the duration of this year. And if we found success with it, and our data indicated that, both our quantitative and our qualitative data, then we would recommend to continue using this resource for seventh grade. And if necessary, we would look at expanding the resource to students in sixth grade and or eighth grade. We are using Carnegie resources at our ninth grade level, and it has truly been a shift, but we are seeing positive impact in both the shift in instructional practices and in the student outcomes. So if at the conclusion of this year it was determined that this was not a resource that was supporting that positive change, then we would not continue, and we would not continue with a consumable resource.
So that's the reason we're calling it a pilot, because it's not consumable. Okay.
Yeah, and the cost to sustain the consumable on a yearly basis is an amount that's considerably less. This amount that we're presenting to you tonight, the $28,000, includes the professional development as well. And the cost, if we were to engage in a multi-year endeavor, would be lower per year. But many of the resources that we do use are shifting to either consumable basis or subscription type basis, whether it be online or print. So we're starting to see a shift in the world of textbooks.
And the teachers will get some of that training before school starts?
I believe so, yes, they will. And Christy Vey is here if you have any specific questions.
This afternoon, so I got a lot of answers already. Thank you.
They definitely will be provided that support.
So then this is going to more online teaching?
This is not online. This is consumable to the fact if you think of a workbook, a student workbook, meaning they can write in it, they use it. The bulk of the information, everything that they need to have is in this student workbook. So if we continue, then the students next year would need that same type of resource, and so we would continue that as an expense. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Legal Services Report.
No report.
Association reports. Ms. Vicky's heading towards the podium in her Smurf blue shirt. Smurfs? No, not Smurfs?
It's more like a shirt. That's aqua.
Aqua, sorry. Seafoam?
Good evening. This evening, I would like to present to the board and to senior leadership 3 of our 4 people who are going to be assuming the position of President, Vice President, Treasurer, and Secretary of the Valley View Council. Several weeks ago, we've had our elections. We have elections every 2 years, and these people are the result of that election. The first person I'd like to introduce to you is going to be the new president of the Valley View Council, Greg Harris. He comes from Romeoville High School. And also wanted to mention that they will assume their official roles July 1st. And Greg?
Thank you. Could we keep that round of applause going just a moment longer for Vicki, who is finally able to retire after many, many years at Valley View. She loves this place so much that she retired 4 years ago and is still going. So thank you for your service to our union. We really appreciate it. I won't say much because I'm sure you guys will need the tolerance for me next year. I just wanted to say that all the people I have had the pleasure of working with up on the dais, it's always been collegial and professional and courteous, and I look forward to working with you in the future in many productive meetings in the best interest of our students and staff. So thank you, and have a great summer.
The next person I'd like to introduce is Claudine Sharko, who's going to assume the vice president's role, and she comes from Humphrey Middle School.
I just want to thank Vicki and Jason Labrosian for mentoring Greg, Monica, and John, who's also been part of the team for many years. But we're very excited, and we're very, Greg and I are very excited to take on this endeavor and represent the 1,800 members and represent the people who support our students in our schools. Thank you.
Next person here this evening is our new secretary, Monica Engel, and she comes from Pioneer Elementary School.
And just like Claudine and I'm short, and Greg, I too want to thank Vicki and Jason for everything that they've done for our union and for mentoring us. And I also look forward to working with all of you up here in the future. And have a great summer.
Our fourth person is treasurer, and that's John Arliss, who is going to be continuing in his position. He decided to stay on and was reelected, so we know that our funds will be in good hands. And also I want to thank the senior leadership for the time that Jason and I have spent with them. They've always had an open door policy, and that's literally and figuratively, because we can pop in any time and that door is open. They'll say, come on in, tell us whatever it is you want, and always willing to make time for us with meetings. We've worked really well together in trying to solve the problems and issues that do come up. Not always in agreement, but we've found to be collaborative in our efforts. So I will know that you will continue to have that same respect and relationship that you had with us, as you will with the new people coming in. They are bringing much talent and skill sets. They have been part of the council as executive board for a number of years as building reps, and also they have their own leadership skills and their own buildings, have been part of many committees, and also been part of the negotiation team as well. So they are bringing some experience with them. I also want to thank the board for their respect and also for the member Quigley and board member Gugis for the time spent as liaison to the AFT and Valley View Council, and the times we have had our discussions. They've been lively at times, they've been collaborative, and I thank you for your time spent and for each other of the other board members as well. So thank you very much for all, and I do have a handout here for you to share with you that has a list of all the new building reps and our returning building reps, as well as our category reps. So again, thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Vicki. Valley View Council, I guess that pretty well covers it all, doesn't it? Any old business before the board this evening? Any new business before the board this evening? Any questions from the public on the actions we have taken this evening? Oh, I'm sorry, Valley View Office Personnel Council. Thank you, sorry. New business, old business. Any questions from the public? Any announcements by the board this evening?
As the school year comes to an end, I just want to thank all of the administration and the teachers. Over the last several weeks, I've had the distinct pleasure through Larry and social media and just in websites, the school websites being updated. We've had a lot of good things happening both at the staff level and the student level, and those items far outweigh the day-to-day stuff that we got to go through to be successful. But starting with the building principals and so forth, it's been an honor this year. It's my first year on the board, and as the school year comes to a close, it's made me even prouder to be a member of Valley View and to have kids go through this district myself. So I just wanted to say thanks, since I think this is our last meeting before the school year lets out, right? So thank you to everybody, and please pass along my sincere appreciation for all their efforts. So thank you.
Next. I would also like to thank the principals and the teachers for all the hard work they do, and I know that they still have a week and a half to go, so please don't forget them in your prayers. All right. The second thing is that we're having our annual golf outing for the Valley View Educational Enrichment Foundation, which is Tuesday, June 10th. It starts at 2 o'clock. It's a scramble. There's information out on the desk as you go by. This is our second largest fundraiser. Last year we gave out, as we announced, over $20,000 in grant money to the teachers. And this goes into that, all right? So if you have a team or you don't have a team, please sign up and come out to our golf outing.
I want to congratulate all the graduates for 8th grade and Romeoville High School and Bolingbrook High School that will be graduating the next week. And I also want to thank the gentlemen in the back who work the cameras, who do their best despite our efforts to look our worst. They do our best to make us look good. So thank you, gentlemen in the back.
I was going to announce the golf outing as well, but you already got it. So if somebody could send me an electronic version of that, because I have some people I want to forward that to, and I do have a check for a sponsorship for $500 for somebody, whoever I can give that to my car. So if you would like it, I was going to give it.
I look good with money.
All right, it's yours. That's why your husband married you, right?
That's right.
All righty. Any other business? Motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor say, oh, I'm sorry, wait a minute.
Administration.
Any announcements by the board?
Administration.
Administration. There we go. I'm just jumping all over.
No.
Any announcements by the public? Seeing none. Now a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Have a safe evening. Drive. You may be rowing home after all this rain, but be careful. We stand adjourned.